Oh, hello everybody. It's actually evening when I'm recording this, but morning in the Netherlands. And our special guest, the first one we've had in this interview series, who's actually based overseas, it's Elizabeth Nuspan. Ellie, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for accepting. It's great, and thank you for doing it on your day off. It's worked out well. So you've just a chill day today.
Yep. Yeah. I've had a pretty busy week of training this week, so it's nice to have a day where I just get to relax, pick up on some hobbies that I haven't been able to do because I've been too tired from riding, sorry. So yeah, it's nice to have an easy, lazy day.
Well, this is pretty easy getting interviewed on a Brunswick Facebook page. Can't get any easier than this. There's no pressure here. It's fine. So you've got a big training block coming up. You were saying off air that you've got a big weekend and then some more training. We'll get to that in a second. But you've been in Europe since end of January, and
yeah, it's been a long time.
An adventure and a half, right? We've covered some of it already. Well, we were looking forward to covering your first race. That kind of didn't happen, and then lots of things have happened since. Just a very quick timeline of events for you. Some of the things that stick out from the time you got to Spain, I think, first, and then what happened until now. Not too in depth, just.
Yeah, well, I arrived in Spain late January, and I was in Spain for the team training camp with Talent Cycling and Bila Crush Pro Cycling. On the second day there, I had a bit of a hiccup, a heavy crash, which I had to have about three or 4 weeks off the bike, just recovering. Nothing too serious. I had a concussion, so it just took some time to get back working again. But then after that week, I actually went to Italy to go see some family, and that was a really, really great experience. And I spent about a month in Italy before coming to the Netherlands. And I think I've been in the Netherlands for about 2 months now, just over 2 months. And it's been really great. The weather's starting to warm up and I haven't had any hiccups yet. So it's been nice.
And this is your family in Italy that you caught up with?
Yeah, so this is my Italian family. There are a lot more.
Of course.
But my family from Abruzzo in Italy, and there was a carnival that they had. This is before coronavirus was the big outbreak that it is today. And that's the pier where we sat out and we had some gelati, and it was really, really special because I've never been to a carnival so big before, and the kids got dressed up, and it was just a great experience, great night. I've never experienced anything like it before.
And if you hadn't have had your crashes, in a bizarre way, you wouldn't have been able to be at that carnival. Isn't it amazing?
I would have been focusing a lot more on training, but it was good because I had a lot more time to go out, see new things, experience new things. It just took so much pressure away from bikes, and I didn't have to think about bikes for a bit, so it was really good.
Yeah, that seems to be a pretty consistent theme with everyone else that I've interviewed as well, that if you can have that time where you don't think about the bike, that's actually quite healthy mentally and even physically, of course, when you're recovering. I remember when you had your accident because I spoke to your mum. I was at a Super Bowl party at, of all things. And, and I got this call from your mum, and I thought I better get it, so I stepped outside and I'd missed it by then, and I rang her back. And it was really shocking news, obviously, but then at that time, I imagine, even though you had concussion, there probably would have been a part of you that may have considered coming home, or was it never on the agenda?
Well, since I had the concussion, I wasn't really thinking about coming home as much. It was more about stay in a dark room, don't talk to anyone, stay as far away from your phone as you can, and really try to recover. Because because I think coming home would be the worst thing. There would be so much stress around, um, like flying, being on the plane. I had stitches in my face. So, yeah, I didn't really think about it. I missed everyone at home so much. But I was only there it was the first 3 days I was there.
Mm.
So I think I still had adrenaline from being with the team. I had a lovely roommate and she was really supportive. Everyone at the buffet I would be a little bit embarrassed that I had this massive blown up face and lip because I hit the deck pretty hard. So they'd all get me my food and bring it back to me. So everyone was so nice and helpful that whole week. So no, I was so happy that I didn't even think about coming home. Yeah.
Well, it's remarkable maturity for somebody your age to just even think that way. You did the right thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you know at the time? And I guess there's a lot of people that would have a different opinion on that at the time, but I don't think there'd be a person who is sensible who wouldn't agree that you did the right thing. So, well done. That's just, you've always been mature, and I'm not surprised that you did that, but who knows until you're in that situation.
Yeah.
So we haven't done any racing, and you've had the opportunity to go to different places at times that you didn't think you would. Well, what's
Yeah.
been, let's not get into cycling just yet, what's been the most incredible day you've had? There's a few photos that you put up that show some unbelievable places you've been to.
Yeah. Well, I think that first week in Spain, I've never been to Spain before. That was an amazing experience. I know I was cooped up in my room for the first days, but I started becoming more active towards the end of the week. And I was really lucky one day, a few days actually, to spend a day with the team DSs and trainers in the car. And it was the Queen stage of our training camp, and there was so much climbing. The girls probably weren't enjoying it as much as I was, but some of the views that I got to see in Spain was so beautiful. And then when I did get to start, when I was starting riding again back in Italy, the views there compares to nothing at home. It was so spectacular. I remember this one day off the bike. I was with a different family than the picture you have up. And in the same day, we went to the top of this mountain in Italy. And I don't go to the snow very often. I got to see snow. And then 30 minutes later, we were down at the beach having ice cream. So I just thought that day was so amazing because there's nowhere in Melbourne or in Australia that you can do something like that. So yeah, it's been great.
Well, there's a reason why people love Italy, right? And
yeah.
In times like this, we were talking about it the other day, just wishing we'd been there in the last few years, because now it's probably going to be another couple of years before we can get back.
Yeah.
You've done it, so you're there, and you're not far away now. So.
Lucky. Yeah, I got out just in time. The day I left was the day everything in Italy locked down, so I was very lucky.
You might be able to write a book about this one day.
No, not quite. I don't have as many stories, not yet anyway.
And there's the last chapter is you start racing, and then you get to write another book about your racing. That could be a cool way to do it. When we caught up with Catalina, she spoke about life in Aigle and the WCC. Yeah. You're with Talent Cycling. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the team, the structure? It seems a very interesting team setup, and they seem quite social and very connected. Have I read that correctly?
Yeah, so Talent Cycling is a group of girls, multiple group of girls. We have an under 17, under 19 and elite team, and they're all in the same trajectory to move towards the Baylor Pro Crush Cycling team, which is same as the WCC team. It's a UCI Continental women's team. So we all train together. We talk to the same team staff. It's very connected. Everyone's there to bring something to the team and try to improve others' weaknesses. So everyone works really, really well together. They speak really good English, which is lovely. And they like to expand my vocabulary a little bit and teach me a few Dutch words here and there. But there's so much that I'm learning from the girls because I've never raced in Europe before. So hearing some of the stories that they have is also really great.
That's what you call accommodating, right? Where a team makes you feel like you're part of
Yeah.
them. Yeah. Knowing that you've come from so far away and
Yeah.
so
everyone. Yeah.
Sorry, no, you go.
Yeah, everyone's been really supporting. Especially, they understand that I'm really, really far away from home at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to be missing home, of course, and everyone is really accommodating and supporting. Yeah, it's been good.
So you said that they speak English, but you've also been learning some languages yourself. There was a video about you and some teammates learning Dutch, but I also believe that you've been sharpening your Italian skills. I imagine you probably knew some Italian already, but Hungarian as well?
Yeah, so my dad is from Hungary, born in Hungary. So my dad's side of the family speak Hungarian. So I thought it's time to sharpen up on my skills. So I can't go to uni because I'm here and the course that I'm doing didn't match up with online classes, which I'm not sure how that works now with the situation. But I've decided to sharpen up on a few of the languages like Italian and Hungarian in my free time. So I'm not wasting my time here, as well as a little bit of Dutch because I am living here. So it does become very helpful.
Oh, it would. And
Yeah.
what is life like in Amsterdam? You know, like it's such a cosmopolitan city. It's, you know, it's one that's often held up as a benchmark from a cycling point of view, but it's also got the seedy side, and you know, like it's just it'd be an awesome place.
Yeah, I didn't have any expectations of what the Netherlands was going to be like. I didn't know too much about it, and the whole time I've been here, I've learned so much. There's a lot of culture here. Even though I wouldn't say we've been in lockdown, but we've all been socially isolating ourselves from each other. There hasn't been too many things that have been closed, but then being here in the Netherlands has been a great experience.
So
already.
There is a difference that people probably need to understand with the way the WCC setup is compared to yours. Your living arrangements are different. You have to try and find work, etc. Want to just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so when I came here, I did have work lined up, so I would be able to do something when I'm not cycling. But since COVID-19 happened and everything started closing, we weren't able to continue down that pathway of work. So I'm really lucky I've got a supporting family that can help me retain staying here.
Oh, they're a great family, and you are lucky, and that's a real benefit, and you don't seem to take it for granted. So that's also very good. I want to start putting up some photos because we'll start getting into cycling. But before we get into what you're doing over there, I want to bring this one up. It's a bit of a cheeky one because I can have a bit of fun at the expense of my cousin. So in the green Drapac kit is my cousin Agostino, and you're clearly in front there. But we know in a bike race it doesn't really matter where you are until the end. Now Ag's been known to kind of mouth off and give people a serve. Have you experienced anything like that from my cousin? Because we can attend to it right now and put him in his place.
I have noticed that he's an aggressive rider. He always tries to go on the attack. He's always there at the finish. He's quite fit and fast. So yeah, it's good. I have heard a few words come out, but nothing that's not normal. A few encouraging words, go a little bit faster, but no, it's good. Drake Boulevard, I really, really enjoy that crit. It's a lovely course, really nice and flowing.
Yeah, it's a great circuit. Now, look, jokes aside, Ag's probably one of the people that you can learn the most off, because that.
Yeah, you really can.
It's now let's talk about your time now, right? So we at the start we talked about this training block coming up, and I mean I was getting tired just you explaining to me what your next couple of days are going to be like. Have you got a goal in mind? I mean, I know that the calendar's come out, but it's still quite ambitious and we don't really know what's going on. But you would start stepping up by the sounds of it. There's a bit more intensity now.
Yeah, well, I've just started doing more intense training sessions because I had a block of base, you would say, just because I did lose quite a bit of my fitness after my crash. And my goal was to start working back at that fitness that I did lose. But no, I've reviewed all my goals and I've set more goals, so I have a clear motivation why I'm here, and what to work towards. I think it's really good to have goals because then you have more clear mindset of where you want to be and how to achieve those goals.
Let's move on to this fella here. There's so many photos of you and your brother. And everyone loves Max, whether it's a photo of a track stand or Max just got the pain face on or whatever. But I do remember you mentioning something like Max was a great inspiration, or even use the word hero, or you something like that. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the very special relationship you have with your brother?
Yeah, well, Max has always been my number one supporter. He's always on the line. If I have a good day, if I have a bad day, he's always cheering me on. And yeah, I think he's a little soldier because he's also out there racing. I think we've both been using Zwift a lot, and I think he's been on Zwift a lot more than what I have recently. He just loves it. He lives and breathes cycling. You just can't take him away from it. So yeah, he is a little hero of cycling in my eyes.
I've never seen anyone like Max. His knowledge of the sport and everything, it's incredible. And I guess being a Carlton supporter, he's got to focus on cycling. There's no point on footy. I had to throw that one in.
We'll make a great comeback one day.
Yeah, for sure. You might all be old, but it might happen. When do you finish there? Like you would have had a limit to how long you're going to stay. What's that? Has that changed? And what are the plans there?
Well, my flight home is at the end of September. But there is no visa involved for me. So there's nothing pushing me out of staying in Europe. Now with the calendar, I'm not sure if I'll be racing past September or not. So having knowledge about being more flexible with my flights or not to stay a month longer or not. But that's something that's still very unknown.
Like most things, isn't it? We really don't know what's happening, and so you have to be patient. So that's a real test for you. Has this pandemic changed you? Has it had an effect on you? Hopefully in a positive way, but has it changed the way you think about life and even goals? And because being a very structured person, suddenly being thrown into a little bit of uncertainty, has that had an effect on your thinking?
Well, I don't think I've ever taken anything for granted. So I'm very grateful about everything we could do before the pandemic. But it is a big eye-opener still, how we can't go see our friends, we can't go spend time with our teammates, we can't train together, but we can now. So I've got my first training session tomorrow with the team again, which is really, really nice. But yeah, it really has changed my views on how everything works and how lucky we used to be that there was no pressure about keeping distance and worrying about, just being close to people, and how close racing is. You wouldn't think about half the things that now we have to consider, because this is a big problem. Yeah.
I mean, just the simple fact of how many times we wash our hands now, it's just changed.
Yeah, I know. It never stops.
And we had our first motor pace session for some time. We ticked all the boxes, and it was very modified, but
yeah,
that was so
I saw
different.
the video.
Yeah, and it was just different though, in that everybody was very careful, and we had to make sure we had registered names so we knew who was there. So in the event that something might happen, we can trace people. And I think this is the way we're going to have to live for some time. And the adaptation is very important. So because we can't talk about racing now, we can only talk about your training block. And please don't forget to tell everyone that the day after tomorrow, you've got a 4-hour, is it a recovery ride or an enduro ride? What's a 4-hour ride entail?
No, so tomorrow I'm training with the team. We have to keep 1.5 meter distance from each other. And we actually have sprint training efforts, which we will be doing 1.5 meter away from each other on the same road, a quiet road, no cars. It's really great here in the Netherlands. I really enjoy it. There's not too many hills. There's no hills, in fact, unless you go to the really southern region. Lots of wind, which is something that I've had to sort of accept in my time here. But usually when I go out for like a 4-hour ride, I am just riding tempo. I'm comfortable. Nothing too hard.
So your fitness is coming back. We know when you're super fit, you're a winner, and you're quite dynamic. Now, this photo is with Cam, who's spent some time with you, and you speak quite highly of Cam. But it's not just about. I mean, I put this up selfishly because it's the Pop Stewart, and it's a very important race for the club. And you have a sash, and it's hopefully something that you'll remember forever. But if we go back to January and the Nationals, and just the support there, and your results. I mean, what's your memory and what's your reflection on Cam and that whole start of the year for you?
Yeah, well, Cam's been a big part of how I got here, about my results. And he just does so much for the club. He's always motivating for everyone. If you have any questions, he's so helpful. He can help you with anything. He has so much knowledge about the sport. He's been in the sport for such a long time. So I think it's someone who's really good to have as a companion, a mentor, a coach. So yeah, he's been a really big part of getting me here.
You speak to him still?
I still talk to him quite often. It's great. It's I feel like I'm back at home. I talk to a lot of people at home, so I've never felt too far away from home, which has been nice. But I really liked this race. It was a nice day. It wasn't too cold, because sometimes on the course it can be a bit cold there. Yeah. But handicap races are always really fun. They always keep your mind going, because you got to watch out for those back markers coming up fast. Yeah.
Yeah. When I was a junior, that's all we raced was handicaps, and they make you very good bike riders. Didn't make me a good bike rider, but doesn't matter. Maybe try to be a good one. We spoke yesterday with Graham, which aired today, about the fans, right? So I'm going to move, if I can, move this way. Yep. So, oh, there we go. So, Wendy, we've given Wendy a plug already, so we're going to keep doing it because Wendy keeps putting up these photos. But I'm going to get back in the middle here because it's awfully uncomfortable. But the support of somebody like Wendy, so you're far away, but when you see Wendy put up photos of times gone by, and I think this could have been in Tassie.
Yeah.
And so does it bring back great memories? And do those memories make you wish you were home? Not where you are, but wish you were home.
Yeah, well, I love seeing old photos because it does bring back old memories, and you tend to forget a lot of what has happened. So I remember these group of girls. I think this was my first time going to Tasmania to race, and I didn't know what the whole scene was going to be about. Lots of handicap races, a different style of racing. Handicap races in Tasmania, you don't get a push. But I met so many great people there, and I met Wendy there. So, and every time I see her, she always wants to get a photo, and it's really great to look back on all these memories that sometimes you forget because you're always making memories. So
Yeah, you are. And there's another great one that I didn't put up, but it's you and Ian Maher. And I know Ian has a particular affection for you too. He loves calling you races, and he's always building you up. And and someone like Ian is a great commentator because they know everything about you. They know your whole history, everything you've done, all the things you've won. Yeah. And when you're racing, can you hear the commentary, or is it just totally shut out?
No, I'm really bad for that. I generally shut everything out unless it's a few certain people that I can hear. But sometimes I do pick up on the commentating, but yeah, they have a really tough job knowing all the names, their history. They do a really, really great job in Australia. So yeah,
and hopefully you'll get to experience the commentary in Europe too, because they've got great commentators. You may not understand them completely, but at least
maybe not.
At least they'll talk. Yeah, they'll talk about you. So one thing I didn't ask Graham, he was the only one that I didn't ask, was whether he would join us on a Zwift ride, and I'm going to put a comment on the post so to remind him to do that. We're doing all these Zwift rides, and Max is a part of them. Max has also been racing, and because he's got such a lightweight, I think it's working quite favourably for Max, which is good. But we'd love you to join us on one of the Zwift rides that we do. Timing might be a bit of a challenge, but we can try and work that out.
Yeah, work around that.
Yeah, well, we have one on a Sunday afternoon, but that's Sunday morning, but you'll be out on your big ride Sunday anyway. But they're not going to stop. But it'd just be great for everyone to race against someone they know, or ride with someone they know, not against. Ride with someone they know who's based on the other side of the world. You're still fairly active on your Instagram and Facebook, etc. So that's where people can follow you and keep up to date with what's going on.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, just my name.
Yep, cool. And your one thing I love about you is not just your family, because they're always there and always quite supportive, but also very they treat you very maturely, and I think that's why you're so mature in return. You get a great deal of support, but you never seem to be somebody who abuses it. So Hunter Brothers, John Beasley, etc. Those people still play a part in your life. Are you still in contact with those people?
Yeah, definitely. The support has never ended from anyone that has always been a part of my journey. Hunter Bros have always and still always be there for me. I actually have a lot of my Hunter Bros kit upstairs, and I still wear to go training because you can never have enough kit. And John Beasley and John Beasley Cycles still support me. I'm riding a bike from John Beasley Cycles at the moment, a lovely S-Works tarmac. So I love their bikes. So I'm still on it. And any chance I get to wear the kit, I will be.
Oh, and it'd stand out over there too. I'd say it'd be a kit that people would look at and want to know about too.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely turns heads.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, we'll do it. I reckon yesterday's word association with Graham failed. I brought up some pretty basic word association, so I'm going to try a little bit harder and make this one work. So it doesn't have to be one word answers, right? But I know a little bit about some of the things that you've been doing. So word association, here we go. Gnocchi.
Pasta.
You've
I
been
was
cooking,
thinking gnocchi before you start. You have no idea.
really?
I knew you were going to say Italian and I was about to say gnocchi.
Oh, okay. So it was the other way around. So amazing breakfasts.
Oatmeal.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
your dad said you've been making some amazing breakfasts and sending photos of them on your little WhatsApp group
Yeah,
that you've
I
got.
have a lot more time now.
Uh, favorite language you're learning?
Hungarian.
Really? How do you
Yeah,
say?
well, it's nothing like it.
So how do you say "I love you, Dad" in Hungarian? Have you learned that yet?
Yeah. Ensara la copa.
Cool. Road or track? I have to ask that.
Road.
You have to say that
Road.
where you are now, but
Yeah.
I guess they
My whole
complement each
focus
other.
is 50.
Favorite race that you've had?
The national road criterion.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that because I can't come up with anything else. But this has been a great interview, and we're going to keep following you. And you've been very open. Thank you. And your travels have been great, and I want us to keep in touch because you are, like I said, you're the one who's based overseas, and in this very unusual circumstances where we see ourselves as quite lucky in Australia because the number of infected people is low, the number of deaths is low, yet you're in Europe and you're posting photos of nice rides, and we're just starting to do a little bit more of that. So it's really quite bizarre, you know.
Yeah.
But we also miss you, Ellie, and I hope you miss us. We miss you because you that smiling face hasn't changed, and it was very difficult for a lot of us when you had your accident because you're so far away, and you know your family needed a lot of support too, and they were quite strong too. But you in particular were really strong, and listening to you speak today, I'm just really impressed. I've got to say, I'm really impressed. I'm sure everybody who will be watching when this airs will also be impressed. Just so you know, we're going to put this on Sunday
Yep.
because I'd like to have a break between interviews, and tomorrow's NRS Swift Race 2, so we'll just leave it for that. And lots of your friends will be racing in that.
Yeah,
But
we'll be watching.
you'll be watching and you'll be recovering from a big training ride in those 1.5 metre distance sprints.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you sign off. I'm going to let you have the stage and you can sign off whichever way you like, but it's yours to end.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me. Thanks for taking time out of your family time to have this interview with me. And I hope you all enjoyed watching. And you can follow me on my social media. Thank you.
Thanks, Ellie.